taught himself to code at 10, sold his first game at 12. Sounds like the classic prodigy story.
Yeah,
But what I found really interesting was the influence of science fiction on him.
absolutely. That's a really key point. Musk has often said that science fiction really fueled his vision.
I can see that.
He sees technology not just as a tool, but as a way to solve humanity's greatest challenges.
Yeah.
Almost like a real-life superhero.
Yeah, he definitely seems to have that superhero ambition.
Yeah.
But, before we get to the world-saving ventures, he had to kind of build up to that, right? So the biography talks about his move to North America and his time at the University of Pennsylvania. Why was that period so important?
I think you can think of it as really laying the foundation at Penn.
Yeah.
He earned degrees in both physics and economics, and that blend of scientific understanding and business acumen that really became his secret weapon.
Yeah.
He was able to not only envision groundbreaking technologies, but also build companies to bring those ideas to life.
And so his first big kind of entrepreneurial leap was Zip2, right?
Right.
This company basically put businesses on the map online. I mean, before Google Maps even existed.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about being ahead of the curve.
What's remarkable about Zip2 is that it demonstrates his early understanding of the internet's true potential. This was 1995, long before most people even had an email account.
Right.
And Musk saw a future where this information would be accessible to everyone, and he built a company to make that happen.
And, he and his brother started it with their own savings. They faced a lot of skepticism along the way, but ultimately they sold it for a cool $307 million. I mean, that's some serious validation of his vision, even at that early stage.
Oh, absolutely. And that success really catapulted him into the world of online finance with X.com.
X.com.
I mean, remember, online banking was practically non-existent back then.
Yeah, nobody trusted it.
People were terrified to put their financial information online.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But he saw the potential, right? That same potential for accessibility and ease of use that he saw with the internet.
Yeah.
He was convinced that this was the future of finance, and, well, he was right.
He was very right.
X.com eventually morphed into PayPal, which revolutionized online payments.
It really did.
Suddenly, anyone could send and receive money with just an email address.
It was huge.
It was a game changer, for sure. It paved the way for the entire digital economy we have today.
I mean, and then eBay comes knocking, buying PayPal for $1.5 billion. I mean, at this point, Musk could have easily retired, lived a life of luxury, but that's not his style, is it?
No, not really.
He sets his sights on something even bigger, even bolder space.
This is where that science fiction influence really shines. He found SpaceX in 2002 with this audacious goal of making humanity a multiplanetary species, not just visiting space, but colonizing Mars.
Colonizing Mars.
It sounded crazy at the time.
I mean, well, trying to compete with giants like NASA and Boeing on a fraction of the budget that takes some serious guts.
It does.
How did he even convince people to take him seriously?
He focused on innovation and efficiency. SpaceX developed the Falcon 1, the first privately funded liquid-fueled rocket to reach orbit. And that was a major turning point.
Okay.
It proved that space travel didn't have to be solely the domain of governments.
I see.
It opened things up.
So that was like the proof of concept.
Yeah.
And then came the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy with their reusable rocket technology. That's something that really sets SpaceX apart, right?
It does. It really does.
Not just reaching space, but doing it in a more cost-effective and sustainable way.
Exactly. Reusability was a radical concept in the space industry. Musk saw it as the key to making space travel more accessible and affordable and opening up all these possibilities for exploration and eventually that Mars colony he dreams of.
So he's not just launching rockets, he's building the future of space travel. But let's be honest, Musk isn't known for focusing on just one thing at a time.
Right.
While all of this is happening with SpaceX, he's also diving headfirst into another revolution, electric vehicles.
Yeah, his involvement with Tesla started with an investment in 2004, but he quickly took the reins, becoming CEO and product architect.
Wow.
He saw electric vehicles not just as a niche market, but as the inevitable future of transportation.
He's right.
He had to overcome a lot of skepticism, though.
I bet.
Back then, electric cars were seen as slow, impractical, and just plain boring.
Yeah, there were golf carts.
Yeah, and he had to change that perception.
Yeah.
The Tesla Roadster was his statement piece.
It was a beautiful car.
It was a high-performance sports car that proved electric vehicles could be exciting and desirable,
Yeah.
but it was just the beginning.
Yay.
I mean, he knew that to truly revolutionize the auto industry, he had to make electric vehicles appealing to the masses.
Right.
And that's where the Model S and Model 3 come in.
Okay.
Musk strategically targeted different segments of the car market.
Yeah.
The Roadster captured the luxury sports car segment. The Model S appealed to luxury sedan buyers. And the Model 3 and Model Y brought electric vehicles to the mass market with a more affordable price point.
Yeah, it's like he was playing chess carefully, planning each move to achieve widespread adoption of electric vehicles.
Very much so.
And he didn't stop at cars, he built an entire ecosystem to support them.
That's right. The gigafactories, the supercharger network, even the development of autonomous driving technology. It's all part of his vision for a future where sustainable transportation is not just an option, but the norm. And that brings us to another piece of the puzzle, Solar City.
Oh, right, so it wasn't enough to build electric cars, he also wanted to make sure they were powered by clean energy. So, tell me about Solar City and how it fits into this grand plan.
Solar City, co-founded with his cousins in 2006, aimed to make solar energy accessible and affordable for everyone. They offered solar panel installations, leasing options, and even energy storage solutions.
So he's like creating a closed loop, from the cars themselves to the energy that powers them.
Exactly.
It's all connected.
Exactly. And this interconnectedness is a hallmark of his approach. He's not just building individual products or companies. He's building a network of solutions designed to work together to address multiple challenges simultaneously. It's a holistic approach to innovation.
But even with all of this, he's still got more up his sleeve, right? Next, we'll dive into some of his even more futuristic ventures, the Hyperloop, the Boring Company, and something called Neuralink. Buckle up. It's about to get even wilder.
Oh.
Okay, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the sheer scale of SpaceX and Tesla, but this biography dives into even more ambitious ventures. It mentions the Hyperloop and the Boring Company. I'm guessing these aren't your average transportation companies.
You could say that with the Hyperloop, Musk envisions a future where we're traveling at speeds exceeding 700 miles per hour in pods, shooting through these low-pressure tubes.
Wow.
Imagine traveling from New York to LA in just a couple of hours.
It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but how realistic is this? Are we really talking about supersonic travel becoming like an everyday thing?
Well, the technology is still under development, but the potential is enormous. The Hyperloop could revolutionize transportation, reduce travel time, congestion, even carbon emissions. It could connect cities in entirely new ways, reshaping urban landscapes as we know them.
But building these massive underground tunnels, that can't be easy or cheap for that matter. That's where the Boring Company comes in, right? I read about that project in Las Vegas, but it's still kind of a mystery to me.
Yeah. The Boring Company is focused on developing advanced tunneling technologies to make these ambitious projects feasible. Their goal is to drastically reduce the cost and complexity of tunneling, making projects like the Hyperloop and these underground transportation networks more viable.
So it's not just about the Hyperloop itself, it's about creating the infrastructure to support a whole new era of transportation.
Right.
And what's interesting is that while he's focused on revolutionizing transportation here on Earth, he's also got his eyes set on, well, getting off Earth with SpaceX. It's like he's thinking on two completely different scales at the same time.
That's a great observation, and I think it speaks to his ability to think long-term, to see the interconnectedness of these seemingly disparate fields, sustainable transportation on Earth, and the possibility of becoming a multiplanetary species are ultimately two sides of the same coin, ensuring the long-term survival and prosperity of humanity.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling, really, but as if rockets, cars, and underground tunnels weren't enough. The biography also mentions Neuralink, and this one really threw me for a loop: brain-computer interfaces. That sounds like something straight out of The Matrix.
It's certainly one of his most ambitious and potentially transformative ventures. Neuralink aims to develop implantable brain-machine interfaces that could allow us to interact with technology in entirely new ways.
Okay.
Imagine controlling devices with your thoughts, enhancing your cognitive abilities, or even merging human consciousness with artificial intelligence.
Okay, now I'm really picturing a sci-fi movie scenario, but let's break it down. How would this technology actually work, and what kind of real-world applications are we talking about?
Well, Neuralink's technology involves implanting these tiny, flexible electrodes into the brain.
Into the brain?
Yeah. And these electrodes can detect and record neural activity, essentially allowing the brain to communicate with external devices. The potential applications are vast, ranging from treating neurological disorders like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's to restoring movement for paralyzed individuals.
Oh. So initially it's about, medical breakthroughs, improving the quality of life for people facing really serious health challenges.
Right.
But this biography hints at something even bigger, something about enhancing human capabilities, even merging with AI. That's where it starts to feel a little unsettling.
It's true that the long-term possibilities of Neuralink raise some pretty profound questions about the nature of consciousness, the ethics of human augmentation, and the future of our species. But it's important to remember that this technology is still in its very early stages.
Right, we're not talking about plugging into the matrix tomorrow.
Not quite.
But the fact that this is even being researched is incredible. It shows you how far we've come in terms of our understanding of the brain and our ability to interface with it.
And it highlights Musk's willingness to tackle these grand challenges, to push the boundaries of what's possible, even if it seems like science fiction today.
Right.
He believes that solving complex problems requires bold thinking and a willingness to explore these seemingly impossible ideas.
It's that drive to constantly innovate, to push beyond the limits of conventional thinking that makes him such a fascinating figure.
Absolutely.
He's not afraid to fail, to take risks, and to challenge the status quo.
And that, I think, is an important takeaway from this deep dive.
Yeah.
Musk's story is a reminder that progress doesn't happen without taking chances, without pushing beyond our comfort zones, whether or not all of his ventures succeed. His willingness to dream big and take action is an inspiration in itself.
Absolutely. And speaking of dreams, I can't help but wonder, with all of these groundbreaking ventures, what does Elon Musk do when he's not trying to revolutionize the world? The biography also touches upon his personal life, his philanthropic efforts, that side of him. What did you find most intriguing about that aspect of his story?
Well, despite his public persona as this larger-than-life innovator, Musk is also a father, a brother, a son. He values family, and the biography highlights his close relationships with his siblings and his children. It's a reminder that even the most ambitious individuals have personal lives, relationships that ground them and shape their perspectives.
It's easy to forget that these visionaries are also human beings with their own hopes, fears, and vulnerabilities. The biography even mentions his struggles, the challenges he's faced both personally and professionally. It humanizes him, makes his accomplishments even more impressive.
It also suggests that success doesn't come without sacrifice, without overcoming obstacles.
Right.
And that resilience, that ability to bounce back from setbacks, is a key ingredient in any great achievement.
Sure.
It's a quality we can all learn from, whether we're aspiring entrepreneurs or simply trying to navigate the ups and downs of everyday life.
Yeah, it's inspiring to see that even someone who seems to be on top of the world still faces struggles, still has to work hard and persevere to achieve their goals. It makes his story more relatable, more human. It's amazing to see how he balances these grand visions with his personal life. He's not just building companies for the sake of it. There's a deeper motivation, like a desire to leave a positive mark on the world. The biography mentions his philanthropic work, especially his focus on renewable energy and space exploration. He's even pledged to donate the majority of his wealth.
Yeah, it's like he sees these ventures as not just business opportunities, but as these crucial steps towards safeguarding humanity's future. I mean, the scale of his ambition is staggering, but it does seem to be driven by this genuine concern for the well-being of our planet and, the survival of our species.
It makes you think about the legacy he's building. It's not just about the companies or the technology. It's about inspiring a new way of thinking, a bolder approach to problem solving.
What's interesting is how he's disrupted multiple industries, forcing them to adapt and evolve. I mean, look at the impact Tesla has had on the automotive world. Traditional car manufacturers are now scrambling to catch up with his electric vehicle innovations.
Yeah, he's raised the bar, proving that sustainability and performance aren't mutually exclusive.
Exactly.
And with SpaceX, he's challenged this long-held notion that space exploration is solely the domain of government agencies.
Right.
He's opened up a whole new frontier for private enterprise and innovation.
And by doing so, he's really reignited public interest in space travel.
Yeah.
Inspiring a whole generation to dream of a future beyond Earth. It's like he's tapped into this collective yearning for exploration and discovery that had been dormant for decades.
Yeah, we started this deep dive wanting to understand the driving forces behind Elon Musk's ambition. And I think we've uncovered some pretty key insights. It's a combination of, his childhood influences, that science fiction fascination, his unwavering belief in human potential, and a deep-seated desire to solve these existential challenges.
He's a complex figure, no doubt about it, but there's a certain brilliance to his approach. This fearlessness in challenging the status quo and a relentless drive to push the boundaries of what's possible. I mean, love him or hate him, you can't deny the impact he's had on the world.
And the impact he's likely to have in the years to come. I mean, thinking about all we've discussed, the electric vehicles, reusable rockets, underground tunnels, and even the potential of brain-computer interfaces. What do you think the world will look like in 20 years? Will we be living on Mars? Will our cities be transformed by these futuristic transportation systems? Will we be interacting with technology in ways we can barely even imagine today?
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure. I mean, the future is unfolding before our eyes, and Elon Musk is undoubtedly one of its chief architects. Whether his vision for the future ultimately comes to fruition remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, he's forced us to think bigger, to imagine a world where the impossible becomes possible.
And that's a powerful legacy to leave behind. It's a call to action for all of us to embrace innovation, to challenge our assumptions, and to strive for a future that's both sustainable and awe-inspiring.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I encourage you to keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what you believe is possible. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to make the next groundbreaking discovery to create the next world-changing technology.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of Elon Musk. We hope this journey has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to think differently about the future. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.